Hi everyone, Chris Stout here with what's probably going to be my last walk around and discussion of my 2022 BMW R nineT option 719 bike for a while. One, because I'm pretty much done with it. I think at this point there might be a few other fine-tuning tweaks, but generally overall it's kind of where I wanted it to be. Secondarily, it is bearing down on November. It's a very windy day. I was going to do this outside, but just too windy, so I apologize for the echo in the garage, but just really kind of a crazy weather day and wanted to get this done and get this out there. This was also kind of fun. I've got a custom plate here of option 719. So a lot of things to kind of talk about this. I'll put this down in the notes to the video as well too, but basically I really liked the retro style. I had a sport classic BMW, or pardon me, Ducati that I really liked a lot because it was that retro style. So it looks like a classic kind of bike, but it's got all the modern bits and tech and pieces to it. I think it's just wonderful. I did have a 1962 R69S, was my first BMW that I showed for a while. That I think I also have maybe some links in the notes if you want to take a look at that bike. It was really fun and really appreciated the technology of 1962 with it. Similarly, it had a Boxster engine. This is air and oil cooled. It's 110 horsepower. It reaches that at about 7,250 RPMs. I have not had it up that high yet. I'm still kind of in the break-in period. I'm about 100 miles to my first maintenance check-in service, which is a total of 600 miles. It is a fuel-injected, dual overhead cam engine. The size is 1,170 cc's. Sometimes people just round up and call it a 1,200, but technically it's 1,170. It goes 0 to 60 miles per hour, or 0 to, 0 to 62 miles an hour in 3.5 seconds, and it's limited with a top speed at 125. I'll go over, after the general part of it, I'll then go over some of the tweaks and things that I did as well too. It also has a dry clutch, comes with a 3-year warranty when you buy them new. I don't know if they're transferable or not. It's got ABS Pro standard. It's got Brembo dual Brembo brakes, cross-drilled discs on it. They're 320 millimeter 4-piston in the front. And in the back, I've heard some places that they're also Brembo, but they're labeled BMW. It is a 265 millimeter 2-piston floating caliper here, but they certainly get the job done. I opted for mine to be in what's called the night black matte with aluminum, and the tank is also aluminum. You can sort of see the sheen of that, the flatness, which I really liked, and then of course the option 719. I also love the red like that. It's a modular frame, and the engine is actually kind of part of the whole frame as well. And in this aspect, you can take off the pinions. These pieces here, if you weren't going to have a passenger and you wanted just even a tidier look, it's a little tricky. There's a lot of videos out there that show how to do that. I am not going to be doing that because I do hope to have my wife ride with me sometimes. This whole seat, or this whole cowling, is removable, and then there's a separate seat that goes in there. It's not underneath there. It's actually a separate piece. And I also just like the, I don't know if I can do this, but I like how this line shows down this way with the pinion apparatus here. And it just kind of naturally, to my eye, kind of flows with a lot of the rest of the tank paint and whatnot. Some other details, I did get the Select package, which for the 2022 cost an extra $1,000. That included dynamic traction control, adaptive headlight. I'll show you the headlight in just a second. Dynamic engine brake control, 2-stage heated grips, which are lovely. Cruise control, which I've never had before, and it's kind of crazy to actually use that. I'll show you how that works. And then 3 different kinds of ride modes: rain, road, and dynamic. And dynamic is certainly my favorite. With the option 719, not just the this paint and whatnot, but it also, I got the upgraded classic, what they call classic wire wheel. You can get I think it comes stock with some kind of other wire wheel, or you can also get a spoked wheel, like a solid spoked wheel. I thought this looked the best. I also have to say I really love the guys at Werkes Racing with this pipe, and just the fact that it opens up this whole thing and allows you to see this whole open side since you've got the swing arm on the other side. It's also got a single adjustable rear spring back here, and it's got inverted front forks in this beautiful anodized gold that is also adjustable. So the suspension throughout the bike is adjustable, which is very nice. It's about 187 pounds, give or take, wet when it's got oil and gas in it. The seat height is 31.7 inches. I'm 6'2". I've got a pretty decent inseam, and you can certainly flat foot with that. The tank holds 4.5 gallons, and I think the reserve is about 0.8 gallons, so which just really surprised. The one hiccup I would say with this bike is that it doesn't have a fuel gauge on it, so that's kind of disappointing. Front tires are 120 by 70 ZR17s. Rear tire is 180 55 ZR17. And I think, I'm just looking at my notes here, I think that pretty much covers the first little part of this. I've got my other set of notes. Let's see, standard on it too. We've got LED signals that are here still in the front. I have changed the back, which we'll get to. Let's see, it's got a USB port, which I have yet to use, so I'm not exactly sure where it is, but I believe it's tucked in here somewhere, maybe somewhere up in here. I'm not exactly sure, but it's there. If you want to like charge your phone or whatever, kind of when you're on the fly, I'll show you. I got a Beeline Navi, which I like a lot, and use that instead. It also comes with the chromed headers that are fun. They also are starting to turn. I guess you can kind of see this in the video. I'm anxious to see as they continue to, I ride it and they continue to turn. I think it'll be, nice bluing to that. Let's maybe then go through some of the other standard stock bits. One of the things that, so let's just turn it on. So everything lights up with the gauges. Here is where your cruise control is. It's sort of locked out in this position. If you want to use it, you click this over, and then this is able to be moved forward or backward. This is your emergency signals. This is if you want to turn off your traction control. This is for the headlights. You can blip it for bright if you want to. You can turn the brights on, and everything shows up here. Also to note, I don't know if it's just for a little bit of time or a little bit of mileage, but these indicator lights will blink for a little while when you first get started, and then they just turn off on their own. So that's the headlights switch. The menu, if you click up on the left upper part of it, I will do that, and you'll see as this changes. So right now, it just is showing the time. Click it once. It toggles to, in 100 miles, I need to get my first service. Toggle up again. This is where I can set up all the little specific kinds of things, set my time, whatever else that you need to make specific to your needs. I have ridden it 155 miles so far. I also want to point out this is showing that I'm in dynamic mode, which is really my favorite. I mean, honest to goodness, even if you're not getting on it or anything, it's just such a comfortable mode. It just is so, for me, just so responsive. And again, I'm not an idiot kind of rider, but I just really find that feeling like so in control and so comfortable. And then clicking it up again, this is my the resettable trip odometer, which is the same. I've never reset it. And similar, tells you the temperature, 62 in the garage here, and then back to time. If I go now on the same button, but I press the bottom, now again, the whole time I did all the other, it was at the top. Now I'm going to just go through the bottom. And you look on the tachometer gauge, so we're in neutral, it tells engine temp. This is a bar graph, so once the bike is warm, the bars start to add up. This tells you my average historic speed, so you can tell I am not a speed demon lately. Voltage, fuel consumption, gallons per hour, I guess, maybe. The other was an average, and back to engine temp. So this is kind of the setup I like, just simply the time and the engine temp, so I'm not distracted by anything else. Let's see what else to show you here. We've got self-canceling turn signals, and we've got the horn, emergency, I think I already showed. We have, in terms of also of adjustability of suspension, we've got adjustable for the clutch, and for the hand brake, front brake. So you can just kind of dial this very easily to what you like, and you can experiment with it. I tend to like to ride like this with maybe just a finger or two on it, and it just perfectly strikes my middle finger with that. So that's very nice. Reservoirs, this is the heated grip. If I had this on, it would show up over here. It's a two-stage. You can have it starts at high and then to sort of high or low and then off. And then this is your modes, where then you would see the road or rain or what have you. I think I can do it here. So there's dynamic, there's rain, there's road. So I put it back into dynamic. You can set it on the fly if you want. You just can't be on throttle, and you have to hold it down for, I think, 2 seconds. And then start and stop. Let's see, what else? Let me just show you this headlight, which is pretty cool. It also, the headlight, it knows if you're in the UK or riding on the right or left side of the road. It gets set up for those differences so that the light shines appropriately on the side of the road and stuff, rather than into oncoming traffic. And if you lean, I think it's maybe 7 degrees or more, then an additional light on these adaptive headlights will turn on to kind of help show your way. So again, here's the switches that I'm doing. So there's the flash, and if you push in on it, then you get that. So it's just really great headlight system. And I don't know if you can see it, it's so bright right now, but there's a cool little Easter egg right there of the BMW logo, which is really pretty cool. Let's see, I think that does it pretty much for a lot of the stock stuff. My simple customizations and all my other videos. I've also got the steering damper. Let me come around here real quick. Sorry for the messy garage floor. Steering damper, which I really enjoy. I had that on an old BMW, I keep saying BMW, Ducati 996. There's the horn. There's the label, my serial number, etc., VIN number. So the bits and pieces that I have done are, where to start? A couple of things. Sorry, I keep interrupting myself. This is the air intake, which is really kind of cool. It's asymmetric. It's only on this side, and here is where the air goes in, and there's the oil cooler, and as you can see, it's absent on this side. And BMW does that quite often with some asymmetric kinds of things. I think they even had like a demo car, a show car that was asymmetric in some ways, which I think is really kind of cool. And it really works. It's kind of good to the design, and most motorcycles are somewhat asymmetric anyway, with pipes on one side, swing arm on one side, etc. So, okay, so what I've done, let's see, easy stuff, all in my prior videos of how-tos, but took off the stock in plugs, threaded in a device that then I could clamp on the mirrors. The mirrors they're both, let's see if we can, I can almost read that. Gosh, I apologize for whatever company this is, but it'll be in the notes. This is actually polished aluminum. It is not glass. So it's very, very thin. I hope I never scratch it to see how scratch-proof or scratchable it is. I really liked this style. These were hard to get. I could only get kind of one at a time, so I was riding around with one on at one point and nothing on the other side. But very easy to install. Really like the looks. Like the kind of thematic aspects of the ribbing here, which I feel is sort of reminiscent of some of the other ribbing on the bike. The other big deal with the mirrors, and thanks to all those that wrote me about it, this has been inverted. So I originally had the original mirrors on it. There's a little plug down here that was up here, looked awful, especially when it was empty. So I got some bolts, spray painted them black, put those in, that helped. But then someone said you can actually just take these off, flip them upside down and screw them back in. So that's what I've done. So overall, you can still see it if you know to look for it, but overall, I was really happy with that look. Let's see, here's my Beeline Navi. I won't have any demos on that. They have great stuff on their website. They have a lot of YouTube videos as well too, but big fan of that, highly recommended. I prefer that than having my phone out, and I'm always afraid it's gonna fall off. I have a case on it. I don't like taking it out of the case, etc., etc. This is a wonderful, intuitive solution for that. It's predicated off of Google Maps and just really works ideally. Back over here, did the, you remember the fail with this? This is, I wanted to get rid of that horrible whale tail original kind of diving board thing that some people call them. And when I did that, I nevertheless wanted to keep kind of a clean look here, and I wanted to keep the spring and everything in here kind of tidy and under control. So I got this from Puig. It's a carbon fiber look wheel cover. A little tricky. I had to made a new best friend with being able to jack this up, because once I took out the bolts here to be able to do the installation, it kind of cantered and then cantilevered, and then I couldn't quite get that other bolt, couldn't get it in at all. Jacking it up fixed that problem, and I was ready to go. Again, a little option 719 custom plate. Really happy with the Daedalus tail tidy. Let me just go over here and turn on the turn signal to demo that. So turn signals look really cool on it. I just, again, love this. Everybody really, if you've seen these, they really make a huge difference in the overall look of the bike, just like how little stupid things like changing out the mirrors and stuff do too. But the whole overall look of this, I think, just looks so much better like that. Certainly gives a better profile, I think. And let's see. Oh, the exhaust. So you saw all of my Akrapovic attempts. That just did not go well. So I just turn the key off. I can hear it humming. So I did not check out those other videos for that story. Long story there. But Competition Works USA does this pipe. They have a great number of exhaust systems and stuff. If I was outside, I'd fire this up. There's another video where you can hear it if you want to hear how wonderful this thing sounds. So I liked that a lot. Here's a little tip that you won't see a video on. So the flapper is here, the notorious flapper, and I thought I could get a piece where you could just do a flapper delete. This is the electrics and mechanicals that control that. And you'd have to buy another little plug to plug into that to help your system then know that to not have like a fault on your gauges, that there's some hiccup and some problem. I had the thing ordered. I sent the place, it was in the UK that I was buying it from. And I said, hey, will this work on a 2022? And they were very nice to say, hey, thanks for reaching out. No, we're very sorry, it will not work on a 2022. So what they told me is that you cannot remove the flapper on a 2022. They said that basically if you want to do that, you'd have to get a whole new, get the new headers and stuff. And that is certainly not something that I want to do. Like the sound well enough. So that's probably how I'm going to leave it go. So I think that's the highlight reel of all the simple little things. I would really, again, I am no mechanical genius, super basic skills, not a whole lot of tools or anything now that I've moved up to where I'm at now. Certainly a much smaller garage than what I'm used to, but you'll see in my videos if you're interested in doing any of these things yourselves. They are certainly beginner's level kinds of things. Maybe I'll do something else more sophisticated. I'm not sure. We'll see. But with minimal tools, with a little patience, with really good sourced parts from really great places, all that'll be in the notes if you want to purchase any of these kinds of things. I don't have any kind of agreements. I have no endorsements. This is just me as a guy that likes to play around with motorcycles and is fallen in love with the BMW R nineT option set in 19. So thanks again for watching all these videos. This will be the wrap up. Do ride safe. I'm looking forward to 2023 and being able to get this out of mothballs, so to speak, and get back on the road. Thanks again for watching. Ride safe.